Schlockbuster video, what do you want?
Hey man, I can't make it.
What?
I'm not coming in tonight.
What the fuck do you mean you're not coming in?
It's Halloween. I think I want to go trick-or-treating.
You hate candy.
So?
And kids.
So?
You especially hate kids.
Yeah.
Who the
You'll be fine.
already poured your fucking drink?
Keep it cold for me.
Who am I supposed to talk to?
You'll figure it out.
Alright, dude, whatever. Fucking see you next week.
Bye. Ah, shit.
Damn. Hey, you, hey,
Yeah.
you hear me?
I hear you.
Get over here.
Alright. What's up?
You like metal?
Fuck yeah.
You like movies?
Yes.
You like metal movies?
Hell yes.
You like Trick or Treat?
Yes.
Have you seen Trick or Treat?
I have.
Good news. You thirsty?
Very.
You can have that drink.
Thank you, sir. Oh, boy, perfect.
No, you can't have this. Drinking in public is illegal.
Wake up, sleepyhead. It's party time!
Rock and roll will never die. At least not this Halloween.
I've heard of raising spirits from the dead by incantations, right?
Yes.
I did that by playing a record backwards.
You're kidding.
Sammy Kerr. He's a rock and roll nightmare.
I am a big fan of yours. I've got all your records. Shut up!
You're the big, and big is you.
This message is meant for me.
How can you listen to this stuff?
Shut it off! Shut it off!
What have you done to your stereo?
I wanted a new one.
Sammy Kerr. His fans won't let him die. He won't let them live.
You should be loyal to your hero. Make it turn on you.
Trick or treat.
Looks like we better check out the party punch.
Where'd you first hear about Trick or Treat?
That was when I was... I suppose when I saw once when I was a kid, saw bits and pieces.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you my whole story with this movie. Trick or Treat 1986, obviously. When I was a little fucking kid, there was a video store in the next town over from the town that I grew up in. Every time we go in to get snacks and sodas and shit like that, they had this little spindle rack with like rental VHS tapes on it, right? Talking about the mid-90s here. And they always had the same fucking movies every time I went in there. They never really had new stuff. It seemed like most of those movies had been there for 10 years, but I was like slowly renting them and shit. And every time I'd go in there, there was a fucking VHS tape cover with a dude on fire playing guitar, and it was forming like this fucking pumpkin around him and shit, you know what I mean? Like a jack-o'-lantern face.
How much more metal can you get? Really?
Right, and I would fucking go in and stare at the thing every fucking time, just like, what is this? This looks fucking amazing. And I don't know, maybe by the time I was 9, I was able to talk my parents into renting it for me. My parents knew what the fuck it was, but just took forever to fucking rent it for me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Then I watched it and found out it was a heavy metal horror film, which I did not know was a genre at the time. Absolutely loved it. I probably rented it 2 or 3 times. Then finally in the year 2000, or 2001, they finally released it on DVD. It was weird because it had Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons on the cover. So it's got the Trick or Treat logo at the top, and it's a picture of Ozzy from like the late 90s, right? Not from the 80s, 15 years earlier when the movie came out. And on the other side was Gene Simmons. They were both current photographs of those guys in like 98, 99 roughly. It might have been a little later. It could have been like 2002 when that fucking thing came out. And it has Ozzy's name real big and Gene Simmons, like billing it like this is Gene Simmons, Ozzy Osbourne horror film, right? and you already understand why that's fucked up.
Right.
So, and it's just, I remember seeing it was the worst cover art in the world. One of them looked like a paparazzi photo with Gene Simmons, like they just snapped it somewhere, like it snuck up on him in a restaurant. Ozzy was actually standing there posed with his hair like fully, you know, groomed and stuff. So it was like a professional photo they were able to get their hands on to put on the cover somehow. That's pretty much the last time it was released in the fucking United States, and it's complete bullshit.
I mean, it turned out to be a good movie after watching it now.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, that's what's fucked up. Because my relationship with it is, like I said, I saw it as a little kid. I loved it as a little kid. Then it came out right as I became a teenager on DVD. Bought the DVD, watched it. And I'm like, oh man, this is kind of lame, kind of corny. Especially where we were culturally at that point in the early 2000s, right? And then I remember watching it again maybe 10 years ago. I feel like, oh, I still like this. This isn't bad, but like I thought it was corny. But upon rewatching it recently, I have absolutely no complaints about it, except I got a couple things that I don't really like that much, but overall that fucking movie is extremely entertaining and holds up for me. And I think it's better than most fucking movies from the era in a weird fucked up way.
Even the special effects weren't even that bad.
Right.
Honestly, they're better than your normal digital CGI stuff now.
Right. And I'm trying to think of...
Handprints coming through the door.
Oh yeah, that's the shit. That's like Nightmare on Elm Street type stuff.
Right.
Like the effects are great. There was a corniness factor to it in the late 90s, early 2000s, because we were living in that post-Scream attitude. But like in retrospect, the whole post-Scream era of horror films don't hold up for shit as much as the 80s and 70s shit do. So like, I guarantee you the only reason I looked at it as a teenager is kind of weird is because I was comparing it to
what was current.
Yeah, I mean that whole like self-aware era, you know what I mean, where everybody in Scream was trying to be fucking self-aware. They're all their stupid bullshit. It led us just down the road to see to Chucky.
Right.
And that's horrible. Speaking of Chucky, you talk about how the special effects actually mostly hold up.
Right.
The special effects in that movie were done by a guy named Kevin Yeager. Kevin Yeager designed and operated the Chucky doll in Child's Play, the original.
Really?
I think he was involved a little later, maybe showed up and helped out on one of the movies, but like he did design the original Chucky. So the 1988 original Chucky doll that still holds up, that was that guy. He did the Chucky doll. He worked on Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 3, and 4, which is the most iconic look of Freddy. That's what people think of when they think of Freddy, because he refined that look. After he left, the costume went to shit. Like, Freddy looks awful in the films after that. Except for, what's
Freddy
the other?
vs. Jason wasn't bad.
No, that was the best they'd done since he left, for sure. He worked on Friday the 13th Part 4 a little bit. The best Friday the 13th ever made. Worked on Bill and Ted. Worked on Hellraiser Bloodline. Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. Did really good in that movie.
Really good.
He also designed and operated the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. Oh, he also makes an appearance in the fucking movie as the guitar player who gets his face electrocuted by Sammy Kerr.
Right at the ending scene at the concert at the high school.
So when the dude's trying to fix his amp, like that was Kevin Yeager. That was the special effects guy doing a little cameo there. Movie directed by Charles Martin Smith. Charles Martin Smith was an actor first.
Right.
Trick or Treat was the first thing he directed. This guy worked with like Brian De Palma and George Lucas. He's one of the stars in American Graffiti, classic. Was also in the movie Untouchables. You'd probably recognize him if you saw him. Gene Simmons is in it as a character named Nuke, a DJ, right?
Right, the DJ.
Gene Simmons, Ozzy Osbourne, and Blackie Lawless of Wasp. All three of those guys were offered the role of the rock star Sammy Kerr, and all turned it down because we're talking about the height of the Satanic Panic, and they're like,
right,
we don't want to play into these stereotypes.
I mean, in fact, Ozzy went the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like played the preacher on TV, right? And then Gene Simmons, though, he's like, well, I like the idea. I'd like to play a DJ, the DJ character,
right? Because
he's a big fan of Wolfman Jack, and the character was styled after Wolfman Jack. So he's legendary DJ and shit, right? Early rock and roll days and stuff. They modeled the character. The character was written after Wolfman. Gene was a huge Wolfman fan. He's like, I kind of want to play that character type. And what's cool about that is that Wolfman Jack, the DJ, has a cameo in the movie American Graffiti.
Really?
Yes. So the director was also in American Graffiti. The character Sammy Kerr, first off, is fucking awesome. The guy who played Sammy Kerr has a fantastic story. Well, reasonably fantastic. I find him interesting, to say the least. The guy's name is Tony Fields. He was a fucking dancer, a professional dancer, first.
Can
right?
see that.
It's very obvious when you're like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Makes so
All
much
those
sense.
twirls and those flips
Yes,
and shit.
The carton wheel.
He knew exactly
with
what
a wired microphone.
Yes, he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. He was a fucking acrobat, right? But that guy, he started like 19. Like, he took off to Hollywood to become a dancer. Started his career working with Debbie Reynolds for her nightclub group, like her performance group. You know who Debbie Reynolds is?
Right.
Carrie Fisher's mother,
Yes.
the legend who was in Singing in the Rain, right? So he starts off with her as a backup dancer. Works his way up to working on Solid Gold, the stupid fucking like soul and disco fucking dance TV show. It's like Soul Train type stuff.
Okay.
Roughly, but it was called Solid Gold. So he's one of the Solid Gold dancers. The thing that sets Solid Gold apart from the other shows is that instead of having performers come on as often, they had like a professional dance troupe that would write and choreograph their own dances for the songs that were being played on the show. So, oh dude, he was in music videos like as a dancer. He was in like Michael Jackson's Beat It video.
Really?
Yeah, and he was in Queen video.
Which
and
one?
like Freddie Mercury was like friends with him, and I can't remember which one it was for Queen, but I know he's in the Beat It video. So he did a lot of music video work in the early days too. He ended up getting a part in the film adaptation of A Chorus Line, like early 80s. Richard Attenborough, I think, directed it. So he gets that, he gets to transition into acting. His first lead role is Trick or Treat. What's fascinating about that is at first you're thinking this guy's just a dancer. You know this dude's not listening to heavy metal.
Right.
He's no way in fucking hell he's listening to Quiet Riot. You know what I'm saying? Or
Judas
fucking Judas
Priest.
Priest and shit, yeah. There's no way he's fucking headbanging when he's not. I mean, he might be headbanging, but not the same kind of headbanging.
The same kind of headbanging.
But if somebody told you ahead of time, oh, this guy's a professional dancer, he's on Solid Gold, he's gonna play a satanic rock star like Blackie Lawless or Ozzy Osbourne, you'd be like,
He's gonna drive that role
And he's-
fucking home.
what's fucked up is that dude was just as committed, if not more committed, than probably any of the rock stars actually would have been. It's like he liked playing the villain. The entire film structure was perfect. Like, I
Yes.
mean, there's I don't know, there's nothing out of place. Everything's set up. You can see, like, good. They've established this, they've established that, and everything fucking pays off.
Doesn't jump dramatically.
Even little shit. Remember when he's taking a shower and the radio's hanging in the shower and the camera's up behind the radio?
Right.
You don't realize that radio is going to come into play later, but they set it up. It's right there for you to
Same
know.
with the bridge
The
scene.
bridge scene especially, because when he almost wrecks off the fucking bridge, and then later on I'm like, oh yeah, you know, he should fucking drive Sammy Kerr off that bridge. Boom, there's your ending. It's
Sure
like
enough.
perfect setup and payoff. But that's what happens when you get an actor who's worked with great directors. You know, working on his
Right.
first movie, he's gonna make sure shit makes sense. The actor that played the lead guy, Eddie Bauer.
Yeah.
Wait, is it not Eddie Bauer? Weinbauer.
Weinbauer.
Eddie Weinbauer. Do you know Mark Price?
I recognize the name.
Mark Price played the neighbor on Family Ties, nicknamed Skippy. Did you ever watch Family Ties?
Yeah.
Did you put a gun in your mouth after you got done watching it? It starts off playing the goofy nerd character next door on fucking Family Ties. And then you got to deal with like, okay, so now Mark Skippy Price is going to try and play a fucking metalhead. Did it work or did it not?
He drove it home. I mean, the opening, he's driving it home that he's the outcast. Which at the time,
that's the thing, he's
what
good.
it was.
He nailed the tortured teenager thing.
Exactly.
The only complaint I have about his performance, and this is after like I've seen this movie a couple dozen times my whole life, and like I said, I had issues with it. I didn't like him as the character back in the day. It's weird when you watch a metalhead story and you're like, oh, why does the metalhead have to be whiny? Because they always do that to him. In this
Whiny and
particular
get beat
case,
up.
there's a reason for it, right? He's not a pushover. I mean, he gets picked on, but he's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
It's not like he's like, oh, why me? Why am I the victim? He's like, God damn it, I hate this. He just carries
Not
on.
crying in his room, slinging his wrist, that
right.
kind of bullshit.
He just goes and listens to his fucking records and he gets it out and it's fine. He just knows things will get better one day, so he rides it out. He's riding the storm out. That's what you got to do. So, what I'm saying, I used to kind of not like the character, but I have one complaint about his performance, and that is when he gets to the point where he gets a little bit of revenge on his bullies, and he gets a little cocky. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
comes a little overdressed with his
Right.
metal clothing. He's good at playing normal guy. He's good at playing tortured teenager. Like he can do the normal shit. But when it comes to having like attitude, he didn't sell that part. It's the only part
Seems like he tried to overplay it.
well, it was too soft too. It just didn't seem real. It's
Yeah.
like almost like he was uncomfortable doing the scene.
It was forcing it.
But overall, surprisingly, I liked his character. I would be friends with that guy if I was in high school then. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's got a good record collection and sweet posters.
Those kick-ass posters that
Yep.
he ripped off the wall
Oh, you know
and
what a
broke my
fucking
heart.
tragedy. Do you remember the old lady that he pulled out of the TV and killed?
Yeah.
That woman's name is Alice Nunn. She played Large Marge in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the film.
Really?
Remember Large Marge?
Yes.
The scary scene in the whole
Yes.
fucking movie?
Yes.
Remember I was telling you about the director, Charles Martin Smith?
Right.
The death of Sammy Kerr was on the fucking television, right?
Right.
And
The hotel was on fire. Everything.
the camera's shooting the TV, right?
Right.
Then he turns the TV off. If you're paying attention when they're showing that shit on the TV, you can see the director with about 4 other crew members reflected in the fucking TV because they're filming the TV, right?
Right.
And they're standing in a lit kitchen with sunlight and shit. So, and then when they flip it off, you can see everybody standing there, but then the camera cuts away. It's funny because I can see the director standing there. He's like kind of watching it real close, like
Right.
making sure everything's working out. You remember a little demon popped up in the car? Well, I say little demon. Remember the girl was listening to the tunes in the car and she
Yes.
fucking
right.
demon pops up on her, right?
Right,
It's
she
like
was-
right there at the end, it's like, "Bah!" Like really, that's like one of the worst effects in the movie. On the box art on the DVD on the back, they show Kevin Yeager, the puppeteer, like building that puppet, like to make it look like there's bonus features on the DVD,
Right.
which there are none, because all of the pictures on the back of the DVD are behind the scenes photos. That demon is also featured on the poster, like the international poster. Like the demon was like,
But it was like such a minor little.
it was like
5 second
It was like 3 seconds.
clip,
It was
yeah.
nothing. I don't even remember what it looked like because it was that quick.
It was
just
like
"Bah!"
brain with like a protruding head.
It had, like, a big, long
skinny
tongue, yeah.
arms. Yeah, it was weird looking.
Yeah, so like that shit doesn't make sense because I mean, well, what it comes down to is they probably filmed a bunch of shit that they cut out because the puppet looked so bad.
Right.
That's just the one they couldn't cut, so they're probably trying to take the whole thing out altogether. Oh, one thing to mention, unfortunately, talking about the actor Tony Fields who played Sammy Kerr. He had to retire from acting in '94 and dancing because he got sick and he passed away in 1995.
Man,
And that's a shame.
that's a travesty right there.
So, here's to you, Tony. I
Tony.
love you. Sammy Kerr fucking lives, man. And don't let the world forget it. Other than the fact that Trick or Treat is a fantastic movie, what would you say is the most important factor?
Kick-ass soundtrack.
Would that be this soundtrack?
That would be this soundtrack.
This soundtrack is a masterpiece.
It is though.
I know you haven't listened to every single track on it. I think there's like 9. Yeah, there's 9 songs on it. Check this out. Do you know who Fastway is?
Fastway.
Yeah.
Heard it.
Because so Fastway wrote all the original songs for the movie, right? All these songs are supposed to be technically the Sammy Kerr character. It's supposed to be his songs, right? But Fastway was already a band. They'd already done 2 or 3 records. This is either a 3rd or 4th album, I think. And Fastway is comprised of Fast Eddie Clark. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
From?
From shit.
I know you know it by the way you're responding. And now you feel like an asshole because you can't
yeah,
remember.
I can't remember.
Rhymes with Metalhead. Technically. Hold on. I think I got a Lemmy in my pocket. Oh, here it is.
Motorhead. That's right.
So Fast Eddie Clark from the classic lineup with Motorhead, right? And he'd gotten to a point with Motorhead where he wasn't satisfied with the way things were going business-wise and creatively. So he's like, I want to start my own project. Teams up with Pete Way from UFO. Neither one of them were happy with their bands at the time. Decided to start their own little project. So you got members of UFO and Motorhead coming together. Fast Eddie Clark and Pete Way come together to form Fastway. See what they did there? Not the most clever name, but that music fucking kicks ass. And the fun fact of that is Pete Way never even played on the record with them, like none of them. He formed the band, helped come up with the idea with Eddie Clark, and then due to some contractual obligations with his record label, he couldn't get free. And then he also got offered money to like tour with Ozzy or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's fucking a lot of money over here, so
Might as well go towards it.
yeah, because they were taking a gamble with Fastway, and then so Fast Eddie Clark gets to take over the project for himself. I don't think things were going well for him until they got. I mean, they did okay at first, like the first record or 2. I think the 3rd or whatever they did right before Trick or Treat, kind of weren't in good favor. You know, like success or anything like that. They're kind of getting frustrated. They're like close to disbanding or something, and then got the fucking soundtrack offer. It's probably the best thing they ever did. Obviously, this movie was not a big hit. People outside of hardcore horror and hardcore metal don't tend to know what the fuck Trick or Treat is, you know? It's a very, cult movie, right? So much cult that it's never been released on Blu-ray in America. It is on Blu-ray in Germany. It's also way more popular in Germany. It goes into the title Ragman. Yeah, so the fucking movie bombed, but the album, the soundtrack, because the soundtrack was a bigger hit than the fucking movie.
Right.
The soundtrack stayed on the fucking Billboard 200 for 11 months.
11 months.
Yeah, that's
for a movie soundtrack.
For a metal movie soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah, so like that goes to show you it was a good record, and people were buying it. In a time when people used to actually buy records too, right? The record was produced by Eddie Kramer.
Really?
You have to know Eddie Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Worked with all of the greats. Like literally all of them, right?
Pretty much all.
Kiss, Zeppelin, Beatles, Hendrix. Worked with the Kinks, David Bowie, Whitesnake, Anthrax.
I didn't know he worked with David Bowie.
So I mean, the dude's had his fucking fingers in hard rock and metal. I mean, since the beginning, right? I think Fastway was a little like slightly active, like they disbanded in the late '80s, and then would kind of get back together in different incarnations over the however many years, all the way up until Eddie Clark died, because he died like a year or two ago, like 2018 I think it was, making him the final member of the original lineup of Motorhead to pass away, because Lemmy and Phil Taylor both had passed away,
right,
like back to back, like November, December, like what, 2016 or 15?
I want to say it was 16.
15.
Was it
so
15?
2015? So December, both of them back to back. They only died like 3 weeks apart or some shit. It was tragic. At least we had Eddie Clark stick around a little longer, but it's one of those few situations where you have a classic metal band, like one of the most classic.
Right.
All the members are now gone, and like that sucks because I can't think of any other examples. Honestly, there's only a 3-man group, but
right.
Talk about the classic lineup, obviously. I wish I could just break down every fucking song, because like half the songs on that soundtrack are just kick ass. Like I've listened to that soundtrack twice in one day.
The structure to them solid.
Yeah.
It
fucking
punches.
Half anthemic as fuck.
Yes.
Something that metal bands in America don't have the balls to do anymore. Write good songs. Maybe try that once in a fucking while. Try a song structure for once.
Let's stop this 6/4 and 6/8 timing bullshit.
And you know what's great? There's something called melody. Something you can sing along to.
What's that? I don't think we have that
I don't
in
know.
America.
Maybe ask Iron Maiden. They seem to do it pretty fucking good.
Maybe Def Leppard even.
Oh yeah. Hard rock. It's rock. It's not Maiden. I'm just saying you're talking about metal.
Yeah.
Maiden's no. Def Leppard is a great band, but they're in a class of their own. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm saying they definitely always wrote great songs, for sure. I wish more fucking metal bands would take cues from fucking Def Leppard. They wrote solid fucking songs, great structures, great melodies. Pour Some Sugar on Me, catchy as fuck, stupid song, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But the rest of their songs are pretty solid, most of them. But I mean, like Maiden can fill fucking arenas worldwide.
Yeah.
Because
just
melody.
Because of the stage presence even.
Oh, I mean, but like the quality of the songs is why. Because people can sing to that shit. Wait. Song? The word that means sing along? God forbid you try writing something people can sing along to. That's one thing that drives me fucking crazy about metal in this stupid fucking country. You don't even get me started. Aside from Fastway making their masterpiece for the soundtrack.
Right.
Clearly their masterpiece. There was, a little bit of original score composed by a guy named Christopher Young. Christopher Young wrote the fucking original score, right? This is a guy who worked heavily in horror back in the day. Worked on Hellraiser, Trick or Treat, Invaders from Mars, Elm Street 2, Spider-Man 2 and 3.
Really?
Danny Elfman did the bulk of the score for Spider-Man 2, but he finished up the other bits, and then took over for Spider-Man 3 because Danny Elfman was busy doing some Tim Burton stuff, I think. Did Drag Me to Hell, He's also done a lot of, like, mainstream, like, arty movies, like Oscar bait type movies back in the 90s and shit, but where you don't care about those because I'd rather hear the score to Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Give me the horror scores. They're always better than the fucking...
Always.
The art movies, like, I'm sure the music for Saving Private Ryan was good, but I'm not going to buy the soundtrack and listen to it.
Right.
Braveheart's good, though. Hello?
Hey, man, I need you to come get me.
What?
They got me, straight up.
I can't leave the store.
They said they were going to keep me for 24 hours if someone didn't pick me up.
What did I tell you?
Yep.
I fucking told you.
I know.
Right. Kids and candy.
Never again.
That's not your thing.
You gotta get me out of here.
I don't have any money. I can't help.
Man, you should have been there. I was at this yellow house on 1428 Elm. It was nuts.
You don't
This
live in a
crazy
yellow
lady
house, do
kept
you?
yelling racial slurs
Possibly. Where at?
1428 Elm.
Yeah, that'd be my house.
Hey, Candy Boy, time's up.
Time's up when I say it's up. Why don't you go police something that's not a phone, you tea-sucking sissy?
Phone's ringing. Yeah. Calm down. Calm down. Slow down. Now tell me what happened. He did what? Where is he now? They already got him? Okay. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be home. So I gotta go. It's nice talking to you about Kick-Ass movie, Kick-Ass soundtrack, but some bearded guy may have broken into my house and
Maybe.
possibly threw all of our candy in a ditch.
Maybe he did.
So,
I don't know anything about it.
oh,
I
okay.
don't know if you've had any trouble. Here, here's a free rental.
Okay.
So
Don't talk about this.
yeah.
Okay. Nice seeing you. I'm just gonna walk that way and go now.
Okay, the door's over there.